Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well, mate. You started recording. Are we already into the episode?
Already start. I just press play and we just crack on. No, hi, welcome to today's podcast. Today's guest is this and that.
Yeah.
I just go straight into it. Sometimes I overcomplicate the introductions.
I think, in all honesty, mate, this is what we need. We need a natural bodybuilding podcast where people just come on. It's relaxed. It's a bit of chit chat. It's nothing serious. We're not going to talk about alignment, resistance profiles. We're just going to talk about bodybuilding and life. It's just nice. It's refreshing.
Yes, obviously I like the science. I like the wacky stuff to it as well. But I just sometimes like just to chill out, talk with my friends about what I love doing. And I find it a lot more enjoyable for me to listen to as well, because I like listening to that stuff. And yeah, it's been going well so far, to be fair. I mean, I looked at a website, I can't remember what it's called now, but it told me had like 3,500 Spotify listeners, 2.7 podcast app listens. It's crazy sometimes, and 5K on YouTube so far. I mean, 10K in like 4 or 5 days is not bad. People seem to enjoy it. Yeah. The big man himself, Khifie, how are you?
Sizable characters entered as well.
How are we?
Look, how tight is that top, mate? It's very tight.
It's
Is it a triple X?
It's actually a large.
Because mate, you're not a large anymore. You're just not a large.
No, but I believe it is anyway. What I need is right. I need like a company that I'm just gonna try and wear like one specific. Like my wardrobe doesn't even consist of shelves, right? My wardrobe just consists of a lot of clothes just all over the floor, right? And I just literally pick up what's like first.
Oh dear.
But I'm like just know that it bothers me, but it's like I just want like one specific fucking company and that's it. Do you know what I mean? Or like one type of clothing and that's it.
This is the thing. I think. Like, I've got way too many clothes, half of which I don't wear. Mm-hmm. And I find myself, like when I'm in my best headspace with what I wear, is when I literally wear the same thing pretty much like pretty much every single day. I know it sounds a bit disgusting, but I probably have a ridiculous amount of tracksuits that I could wear at home where no one else sees me, apart from a small little screen in a Loom video. And I literally, like, for most of my prep, I wore the same one every single day because it's like a uniform. So you put, like, to train as well, I obviously change. And that's a big thing that I say to my clients as well. It's like, you've got to have a uniform to go to the gym. So if you're working at home, you don't sit there in your training stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I definitely have to change.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. I definitely could not get up and go and train in what I've been sitting in all day. No chance.
So if you guys had one clothing brand that you would wear lounging around and training, what would it be?
Probably Gasp or something.
Yeah, that's a good shout. To be honest, I'd say Gasp.
See, I must admit, on that note, I looked at the website. I was going to buy a jumper, and it's quite expensive. It's
well expensive.
Yeah.
But they've always got sales on, so
maybe I need to look at the sales, because I was like, really, do I need to justify spending this amount on just a jumper that I'm just going to wear in the gym and sweat?
They sell it on Dolphin Fitness as well.
Yeah, it's that kind of expensive that's worth it though. Like when you get it, it's why it's an extra 10-15 pounds more than the other stuff, because the quality difference is significant.
I actually buy 2 of each, like jumpers. Just buy two of the same. So I just, because I like wearing the same stuff. You notice in my videos on Instagram, I wear the same shit. It's because I've got double of everything. So I just wash one day, wash the other the next day. And like you said, AJ, it's just my uniform. Like when I put my gym clothing on, it's like, okay, I'm going to the fucking gym now. It's time to switch. Those little things, they make a difference. They make a difference, honestly.
Caitlin, how are you? It's clarifying that you don't wear the same clothes every single day.
Sometimes I do.
Sometimes you've only got one of everything. I remember when I gave you that Team MBM hoodie in your prep, and like, fair play. It was great for representing the team, but you literally wore it like every day for a long period.
I find
that is definitely like one of those like kind of OCD kind of traits of prep where you find a hoodie that and you have a good couple of days and you're like, what happens if I don't wear this hoodie? Will I gain body fat? Will I go backwards? So I'll just keep wearing this hoodie. That's what I seem to think, which is probably a terrible mindset.
I used to do that with deadlifts. I'd wear the
yeah. So did I.
same thing.
Does anyone have like certain days they'll wear certain stuff? Like I have a jumper for my deadlift day. I have a jumper for leg day. I just kind of have like separate days for separate sort of separate clothing for separate days. As weird as that sounds.
I always had like I would always wear specific stuff for legs, just with regards to squatting, and I would always wear specific stuff on deadlift day. But I used to always wear the first ever JP shorts that came out for deadlifts, and a black strength shop t-shirt that I actually cut the t-shirt because I had so many black strength shop t-shirts, so I cut one t-shirt to know that was the one that I would always wear on deadlifts. But I would still wear it, but I had to move away from shorts because I always felt I got to that point where like my hitching was getting even worse at the top of the rep because I kept catching the bar in my legs, and I was like, fuck this, I'm never wearing shorts again in my life to deadlift. So I switched over to leggings, and I don't get me wrong, I wear the same stuff. I wear the same stuff like all the time for deadlifts now, but I moved away from shorts just because the fucking bar kept getting caught on me. And like throughout prep, I had the exact same stuff for squat legs. But now I'll wear probably different t-shirts and shit, but I'll always wear like the same leggings and that.
I must admit, I tried actually like the thermal tight leggings, like just for like a week or so. I did it in prep and it was so uncomfortable. I have no idea how anyone could put like shorts on and shorts over the top of their like long leggings, like around the sort of genital area. It's very like uncomfortable unless you're not used to that sort of stuff. I mean,
AJ knows why I'm smiling.
Yeah. Are you smiling because of the take 5?
The take 5 leggings.
Oh mate, I had every single color.
There's a brand called Take 5. Yeah, you can literally pick them up for like a $5 on Amazon, and like we used to have all the colors. They had like a camo one and everything.
Yeah. We always. I think we all went through it. It was like me, you, Piad, all were wearing the same Take 5 leggings in pretty much every. Like I started wearing them in upper body sessions. Like people would look at me in the gym and be like, "Why? Like, can I see this like 18-year-old's cock doing incline dumbbell press?"
That is quality. How do you spell that? Take 5? Is it just Take 5?
Yeah, funnily enough, it's just spelled Take 5. Yeah, take and then 5.
Not coming up.
Is it the number 5 though, or is it the letter?
No, it's the letter. It's spelled 5.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to share the screen now because I was coming up and I was just looking at girls' leggings. I was thinking.
You scroll back far enough on like mine and thought like it's going to be a long. Well, it's even longer on Jack's. But like if you scroll back far enough, you'll see so many videos of us training in that kit.
Jesus Christ. Wow. Well, I can't even actually share the screen right now. What's going on?
Oh, there they are. Oh, that brings back so many memories, man.
Yeah, I've seen
the legs though.
Wow.
Those were my squat day ones, the red
ones.
Yeah, so I wore them with the SBD knee sleeves, and they just like obviously were completely.
I've got some still in their pack.
Brilliant.
Jesus.
Well, here's a good question. So, with clothes, when they arrive in the post, do you guys tend to like rip up the packaging straight away, open them, and wear them, or are you kind of protective over a new item of clothing? You maybe keep it in the package for a little bit and then choose to open it when you want to wear it. Like, how do you treat that?
Yeah, I wouldn't put it on until I was going to wear it.
Yeah. Caitlin?
Yeah.
It goes in the wash straight away, and it goes in the wash straight away. Yeah.
So you're just basically shrinking it already.
Even though it's literally in a
everything I buy is too big for me anyway.
Oh, right. Okay.
Like most things that I buy aren't the girls' stuff. So I remember I bought a few Hera tops in the extra small. I think it was an extra small bed sheet, because they do not fit me. But yeah, it goes in the wash straight away with the Unstoppables, of course, influenced by
they're
AJ there.
Yeah, if anyone's not using those little beads that you can get in the supermarket for putting in your washing, makes your washing smell unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Can't stop smelling it.
Yeah. You just can't. You just
I haven't
can't.
tried
That's
that
why
before.
Caitlin's clothes, they just come in the post and just go straight in the wash. Jack, I can imagine you have about what 10 tracksuits that are still in the package.
Quite a few.
Yeah,
like I'm bad with that. Like I'll buy, but it's because like I'll buy stuff in sale, and as soon as I see it in the sale, I'll buy it. But then it'll hang up for a while. Especially shoes are the worst. So I'll buy a pair of shoes, and then they'll, like, some of them I've probably worn once or twice in a couple of years. So I'm bad for that.
Crazy. That's crazy. I mean, I wear shoes to like the ground. Like my Vapor Max triple blacks, I wear them on a dog walk and they're covered in mud. They're £180 shoe. I don't give a shit. You know, I wear them out. I've had those for a couple of years though. Jack, I want to ask. So obviously, weekend just gone.
Yeah.
Are you off the market?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you released it right early, didn't you?
Yes, yeah, I did.
Yeah, and I thought there's no way she's gonna listen to this shit, and she did.
Oh,
so when I finally we spoke about it on the weekend, and she was like, "Oh, I've been waiting for you to ask because I listened to the podcast and I knew you were gonna ask me, but I waited till right till the end." So yeah, now it's not Facebook official, if it needs to be, but it is official. So
congrats.
Well, we were both saying like, do you really need to ask? And she was like, no, but I did anyway. So it's done.
I mean, you get to that age now, like I'm 24, I think, do you really need to ask a girl out now? I think that's back in when you're younger. AJ, did you ask
You're
Loz
both
out?
just going to get to a point where
Yeah, you kind of just sort of, okay, we're official. We just see each other all the time and speak to each other. Yeah, it's strange. AJ, how was Dubai, mate?
It was Dubai. I think everyone sort of knows what Dubai is like. It is a lovely weather. It's kind of it's weird, especially going in the winter. Like I love going in the winter because the main reason why I like to go and was the drastic effect that it has on your mood by just getting in some actual sunlight and experiencing those summer days where you just generally feel like really quite energetic and high energy. You feel like that every day. So I definitely needed that sort of refresher of a change in environment, but you do feel like you're in a little bit of a bubble when you're there. It's a very, I don't know, you almost feel like you have to look a certain way. You have to fit a certain mold, which is a little scary because even when you're there for a couple of days, you already feel like you're fit in that mold. Like I put it this way, I'm a fairly confident guy, but I would not feel confident going into the gym wearing what I wear when I go to Ultraflex. Like I feel like I can be myself a lot more in the UK, and I feel like when I'm there, as much as it's completely different climate, different weather, blah blah blah, I feel like I'm already trying to fit a weird mold that I don't quite feel was me. So that's the only thing that I feel like makes me want to come home when I'm there. Like I miss being here at home with my home comforts, and so does Loz, to be honest. But I think one of the things that and I'm sure Jack's experienced this with his sort of newfound relationship, is that you've got to sometimes pull yourself out of the box that we create to be able to get back in there and go after. I think for me especially, it's almost like even doing check-ins in a different environment for a week gives me more ideas for what I can do business-wise. With the Be Epic stuff as well, I had loads of ideas out there. I just find I get different environment just gives me a fresh headspace, and I write loads. I just write down loads of ideas, and I tend to come back pretty fresh. So that's sort of the reason why we do it. But yeah, I wouldn't really call it a holiday. It's more so just like a really nice change of environment and sort of repeating the same routine. We definitely enjoyed some different food though.
Protein, yeah.
The protein desserts, yeah. Keith, have you ever been to the Cheesecake Factory? I'm sure you have.
Yeah, we went back in 2019. Went out to Miami.
Yeah. It's serious,
probably
isn't it? Serious. It's seriously
came out about 10 pounds heavier.
Yeah, 100%. It's like even their mains, like we've only eaten there twice, like once in Vegas and once in Dubai, and you think about, you see the calories on the menu and stuff, and then you think about holy shit, I've consumed a whole day of prep eating in one meal. And the weird thing is, because it's so calorie dense, you after eating it, you're like, okay, I could eat that again, which is just scary. And you see why people just get so absurdly fat on eating that kind of food. But yeah, that was good. And it's just, again, like with the food thing, I think this year I've done a better job with like having off-plan meals and switching off a little bit. Because last year I was very, very sort of like very stuck in the routine. I think the sense of urgency to get back on stage the year after and be much better was maybe playing in my head a little bit, which, don't get me wrong, like it works. It definitely works to stay that vigilant. But at the same time, I think it's been nice for Loz to spend some time with me and see me eat some like calorie dense foods and like smile and laugh and have some fun, because she's seen a very a very different version of myself for like the last 3 months in terms of just being like, you know, the way my prep ended in terms of the severity of the calories and the push that I had to make to actually get into stage condition this time around turned me into a very sort of like introverted, in my box, very quiet, not making jokes, not laughing, none of that, because I just didn't have, like, literally my energy availability was all towards expending energy through my cardio, my steps, and my training, and that was it. So, you know, it's just, I think, you know, when you're in a relationship, you kind of have to think, right, as much as she understands, I have to give back a little bit here. So that's another nice thing. So yeah, mate, it was good.
Yeah, it's been nice to see as well. Like when you do flick through Instagram, it's nice to see. Obviously, I like with Thorburn, I like seeing every single meal he eats. I absolutely love it. I know his routine is great, but then at the same time, when Jack's posting him, you know, doing something a little bit different, and same with everyone else here, it's kind of quite refreshing, and it kind of puts a little bit of a smile on my face, because kind of knowing that, you know, you can do that sort of stuff and still stick to the plan and just enjoy life a little bit more. And I certainly see that with yourself, AJ. So nice to see, really, really nice to see. Caitlin, how's your week been? I see you posted a bit of training earlier, and I was like, okay, so obviously AJ's in here now, which is great because obviously he's doing the training. What's been the biggest game changer so far since you've been doing the style of training that AJ's obviously prescribed you?
You know what? I don't necessarily think it's been the training, so to speak. It's more so him being there to tell me you're not out of your hole yet, which was a massive thing. I sort of wanted to make sure that I nailed this post show, because I knew that if I didn't, it, you know, I could have very easily blown up for the wrong reasons. However, almost went the opposite way, and I think now we're in a fantastic spot. Like, honestly, like strength is pretty much all-time peak strength. About 20 pounds less and a lot less fat than I was last time. But just having him there to sort of say, how do you actually feel? Like, he's known me for like 2.5 years. And I know that when I probably walked in the gym thinking that I was all right, he could just see that I wasn't. And for that reason, that's probably been the best thing. Like, obviously, I've got a good circle around me, but the only two people that, you know, I'm sort of going to be listening to are Tom and AJ. So that's been the biggest thing. Obviously, from now on, the training and managing volume will be like, that is going to be so key. But at the minute, we've literally just gone into sort of this first mesocycle, I guess, and things are just progressing and progressing and progressing. So it just allows me to not have to think. Like, I don't have to think about anything, which is one less thing. And, you know, like with the goals that I've got, I don't want to have to think.
It's okay if I show or share the screen, sorry, with some of your training and that, just
yeah, sure.
Always like to ask because it's a bit. So this was today.
Taking things seriously as ever, Caitlin.
Well, someone actually commented, why are you so serious? And I'm like, oh.
Well, to be honest, that was actually a request from me to add the hat. What we're looking at here is we're looking to try and create a little bit more stability through the actual head. What we found is that she was getting a little too much friction with the see there, you know, she just immediately lost that stability through the disposal of the hat.
This was 27.5 for a set 7.
Yes.
Impressive.
Solid.
Impressive.
It's more so impressive when you think about like how small Caitlin is. For anyone that hasn't seen Caitlin in person, like not like when she poses, she's not small. It's just like bone structure, actual height and size. She's like a very small human being chucking up 27.5 kilo dumbbells. Like that is ridiculous.
This is impressive, by the way.
Yeah.
This is.
I didn't realize. I didn't realize how small I'd actually got as well, which is one thing. And you know, it's one of the things that you look back on, isn't it? I mean, like that's almost about 8 kilos added on there. Obviously, there's like this is like I did not expect 8 kilos to go on, and obviously I've gained a little bit of body fat, but I don't think, you know, there's much detriment to condition there.
It's mental.
Which we didn't plan. We didn't plan. So like we're not trying to stay lean.
Yeah.
It's just happened.
It's definitely gone to the right places. 100%. Yeah, you're looking really, really good.
Like most of that will be muscle tissue regain rather than new muscle tissue accrual.
Yeah.
So, you know, now we're really getting started on like the actual new muscle gain, especially now she's actually getting close to doing stuff that she's never done before.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Like at this point to be both recovered from the prep pretty much and doing stuff that you've never done before and being lighter and leaner than her previous off-season maximum body weight. That is how you get out of a show. That's how it's done.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyone sort of listening, take note. That's how you do it. It's not easy to do as well. Like Caitlin will attest that is not an easy process, but how you get it done.
Keith, I've seen you, what was it, 260 for a set of, what was it, 12 the other day you shared?
Yeah.
Let me actually get this up quickly. Talk us through this, mate, because obviously this is just crazy to me, you know.
What I'm so impressed about here is the lungs, like your actual work capacity, considering I don't think you do any like formal CV at the moment, do you, Keith?
Nah, no CV. So the kind of the biggest thing behind this was 260 for 12 was like a massive goal that I think fucked up my head more than anything else, because I done 260 for 10. I think that the biggest thing that's helped me a lot is not even really been the fact of like my cardiovascular system, but actually the fact that I've stayed with deadlifts a lot longer than what I have ever. Like usually what I would do is I would do like a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks of dead stop and then back to touch and go and then dead stop, touch and go, dead stop, touch and go. Don't get me wrong, like I got strong on both of them, but I was never like ever near this sort of like strong on dead stop. So I think it was just staying obviously with dead stop, but at the same time, like the past 4 or 5 weeks, I've been no less than 10, 12 reps. So the last time I'd done anything down the lines of like very, very, very low reps was the 320 for a triple. And then after that, I'd done, I can't remember what the first high repper was, but I'd done like 220 paused, obviously on dead stop, and then 240. And then I kind of knew when 240 for 12 was boxed off, I knew that I wouldn't really have to fuck about with 250 before going to 260, because I kind of just knew that if I could get at least like 6 or 7 reps with 240 or 260, sorry, if I could bang them out first, I knew I would be able to stick with the last kind of 4 reps. But I don't know. I think I'll probably move to like looking for 300 for like 5 to 8 reps on a dead stop, and then by that time my off season will probably be finishing, and I don't know what I'll do from there, if I'll stay with dead stops throughout prep or not, but I don't know. I've kept them in for like loads amount of months now, so honestly don't know. I just want to be able to be like very strong at like 2 and 3 reps, but I also want to be very strong at like 12 to 15 reps, but like very strong as in I don't want to have to drop like 100 kilo off my deadlift to add on 10 reps. I want to add on 10 reps and just drop off like 30 kilo, 40 kilo. Do you know what I mean? So it's hard like that, but it's just, I don't know. I also want my bench and my squat to go up as well, so it's fucking hard trying to make sure that they're all fucking going up at the same time. But
just ask Father Christmas for it, lad.
God, I'll see. I might.
What were you thinking when you went into that set? Like, do you think about how you're going to deadlift, or do you just walk up and pull?
Yeah, I always take myself away at the same place, regardless if I'm doing like a 260 for 12 or 320 for a triple. It was just the exact same music, same everything. Switch off before. Like when I go in and deadlift, I go in and deadlift. I don't go in deadlift, talk, deadlift. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's one of them things that I know I need to, especially once I get to maybe even like 170, because I've been working with 25 kilo plates. I've been going like 170, 220, and then either 270 or 260, depending obviously what I'm going to be doing. So I know, like, I also need to be more cautious with warm-up sets because I'm not doing 40 kilo jumps, so I'm not going like 60, 100, 140, 180, 220. I'm getting to 220 after like 3 sets. So I need to make sure I'm fully warm. I need to make sure I'm ready for that. And then once I kind of get to 220, then I properly switch off, or even you could say switch on for deadlifts. And then that's really when it kind of gets a wee bit more serious, because I need to make sure that 220 doesn't feel fucking even medium heavy. I need to make sure that 220 just flies and I get rid of it. And then depending on what I'm going to go next, if I'm going to go, like, for example, when I done the 320 triple, like the 320 triple was the very, very bit like back end. So even with 270 beforehand, I needed to make sure that 270 never took over my head. Like, even if it felt slightly heavy, in which 270 is 270, so it felt like 270, but I also had to make sure and always take into consideration and remember to myself that it was a warm-up and that was literally it. So it's a wee bit different when it gets to that, but I don't know, I just always need to know that it's going to be there for me to go for it. If at any point of a session I get any sort of doubt, then I purely think that would fuck up my whole session, especially with deadlifts. I knew 12 was going to be there. That was not even like an arrogant or cocky way. I knew 12 was going to be there, so I had to just go for it regardless how sore or how tired or kind of that it wasn't. And don't get me wrong, like afterwards I was like, my central nervous system was obviously fucked and everything was fucked when I came back to like normality, but I wanted 12 and I knew 12 was going to be there, so I took the 12 and then trained back after it. So
on that note, do you do like a warm-up prior to going into deadlifts at all? Like for me, I might sit on the hamstring curl for a little bit. I might do some activation sort of stuff. Do you just go straight into it, or do you do?
Yeah, I will go. I won't do anything prior to it. I will go straight into deadlifts, but I will grab like light dumbbells and resistance bands and that, and obviously perform like loads and loads of movement patterns for like 5-10 minutes beforehand, because especially like the gym now is fucking freezing, like really disgusting cold. So even like pulling one plate aside, if you're freezing, especially if your feet's cold, your whole fucking body's cold. So I always like to make sure that I'm warm in that kind of sense. And what I've noticed recently is, especially with like the kind of first couple of sets of maybe like 70 and 120, I will perform between like 5 and 10 reps, just because the gym is that cold and I'm that cold, and I need to make sure that I am going to be fresh enough and warm enough even going into 170. But I'll never do anything like ham curls or anything like that beforehand. Potentially may like do some single arm rows. Obviously like just grab a D handle on a cable machine, just to kind of make sure that my lats and that are fired a little bit, but nothing strenuous. I would never take even, I would leave like 100 reps in reserve. Do you know what I mean? I would just maybe perform 10, 15, 20 reps that are really, really, really lightweight, just to make sure I can feel what I need to feel. And then all the work kind of happens with deadlifts. I warm up on deadlifts. I take enough warm up sets on deadlifts to make sure that I'm ready. So I've never really been one to do any form of like isolated work beforehand. Even on any days, like whenever I do legs, I will go straight in and squat. Whenever I do chest, I will go straight in and flat barbell, so, or incline barbell or whatever I'm doing. But it would more so be a case of if I'd done like, so I've seen recently, when I've done shoulders, I've went in and I've done some form of cable exercise first, just simply down to the fact that the gym's been very cold and the dumbbells are freezing. Or I would just jump to dumbbell shoulder press first. But I've done maybe something like unilateral side raises and a front raise exercise, and then jump to dumbbell shoulder presses, because I've been that bit warmer and I've been able to connect more, because there's nothing worse than trying to get cold dumbbells from your fucking legs up here, and you're freezing, your shoulders are freezing, everything's just fucking clicking because it's so cold. You know what I mean? It would probably be the only station that would do that though.
What I find actually quite funny with you, when you do dumbbell shoulder press, you literally just fling them like both up at the same time and just press. Like, I've never seen you do one, then do the other. I think that's, for me anyway, it's easier flinging one up, one at a time. But you just fling them up, get it moving. So I
don't want to waste any time.
Yeah, no wasting time there at all. Jack, how's things, mate? Training good? I've actually seen, to be fair, I've seen you when you're more vocal. When we go, woo! No, things are on, mate. I've started to know. I can start seeing your face.
Well, no, you can just tell.
Top even came off, didn't it?
Huh?
Top even came off after you.
Wow. That comes off on a regular, Caitlin, to be honest. But like you can tell that training's improved a bit in the past sort of like 2-3 weeks, because like if I'm posting more on my stories, then like even like you said, especially if I'm vocal on my stories, there was a period of time where I might get the first exercise and then it would just go to shit, and then you wouldn't see anything for the rest of the session, and you really know things are going downhill. But now past 2-3 weeks, things have been pretty good. So no complaints. I need to stay on top of a few things, because like I'm always going to slip back into things tightening up and stuff. Like my hips always have a tendency to tighten up and stuff, but in terms of like in general, everything's going pretty well, so no real complaints from me. I think potentially I need to start increasing a bit of food as well though, because like my weight's not really shifting a lot at the moment, so maybe get a little bit more food in, and that'll see me at probably the sort of most food I've ever been intaking, which is quite cool, and conditioning is pretty good as well. So I'd say overall in a pretty good position.
Where is your food at the moment in terms of calories?
About 5,000.
Very high.
Yeah.
Really good spot. Jack, on that note of food, I think for the listeners, a lot of people would absolutely love to know what your approach is on Christmas, because for you, I think a lot of people, more than you will imagine, follow you and see you as this person that is, you know, bodybuilding summed up in terms of consistency and regimen, and mate, like I look up to you a lot, you know, for that regard. I think we all do. But like, how will you manage the day, and maybe like enlighten some people, maybe refresh them as to the fact that you maybe will eat the food that's off?
Yeah. So in terms of the sort of structure of the day, the gym's open. Like the gym's open with me, and it just happens to be a training day. Like if it wasn't a training day, I'd rest. But it is a training day, so I'll train. So going into the session, it'll probably just be normal pre-workout meal, train, come home, and then for me, I've always been. I don't know whether it's like a guilt thing, but if I've trained well or I've trained, I don't really have much, not that I do anyway, but I don't have any guilt about eating a decent amount of food, which is why if I'm going to have a cheat meal or a meal off, normally I'd like to have trained beforehand. It just gives me a bit more peace of mind kind of thing. But yeah, now in terms of the day, I will eat Christmas dinner. Quite often I'm egged on by the family to eat quite a bit. So because I believe it or not, I do have a massive appetite, and if I'm gonna have food, like I can put away three plates of Christmas dinner, no issues. But I don't know now, because I'm at the stage where food's quite high, and like I've been in off season for so long now, I kind of don't have any. Even though I am a foodie at heart, I don't really have any like cravings for food now. So,
yeah,
you know, like when I'm going out for food these days, like in previous years, because of how regimented I am, when I was given when I did give myself an off-plan meal, I'd go in.
You went in. I remember like multiple orders.
Yeah, like I'd order like 3 meals, and the waitress would be like, "What?"
Yeah,
so, like don't get me wrong, I still could do that. I still have the appetite to do that. But now and especially now because I'm going out more now, like more regularly, I know that I've got plenty more to come. Do you know what I mean? Whereas before it would be once every like couple of months. So I knew like this is your one shot, go in. So now, you know, like I can go once a week, once every 2 weeks now. So I know that I don't need to go in on food. So yeah, in terms of Christmas Day, it'll just be like Christmas dinner. But at the same time, because of like COVID and that, there won't be a massive family occasion for us this year. So I don't really feel the need to, it's because it's almost just like a meal with my parents to a degree. So I don't really feel the need to eat an awful lot anyway, you know. But for those people that are interested, yes, I will go in on Christmas dinner. Pigs in blankets is a favorite. I'll eat basically the whole house of that.
They'll all be on the story as well, like meal 3, meal 3.1.2.
And then we'll see a stack of plates and you'll say EZ.
Yeah.
And a whole tub of Glycomax as well. and his blood glucose reading 4 hours post.
I might take that actually. It'd be interesting to see.
7.8.
It's annoying for me because I think for the past couple of years now, I have been in an off season around Christmas, or I haven't been dieting at all. So I don't ever look forward to Christmas Day. Like for me, the issue I have at the moment is, for example, if I go off plan on Christmas Day and I just eat whatever, chances are the calories are going to be there, but my scale weight will still drop because the food volume or whatever it might be is just going to be way less. And that kind of puts me in a hole because I wake up next day. I'm having this issue now, you know, I had to take out a stir fry meal, which was about 800 grams in total. I had to take that out because it was just, my appetite just wasn't there to eat it. And I was like spending 30 minutes trying to eat this thing, and I replaced it with a much smaller meal. And don't get me wrong, it's the same calories, but the volume is a lot less now that I'm struggling to push up my weight further. So it's a bit of a nightmare for me, Christmas Day. And every year I always lose weight if I do go off plan. So this year I'm just going to stick to my usual sort of meals, have Christmas dinner, and that's it. I'm not gonna go.
If I was to give you some advice, I'd say try and get a good few meals in beforehand. That's what I always make sure I do. I normally get 2 or 3 meals in beforehand, just so like when you are full off. Because once I've had that meal, I don't think I'd eat anything else anyway.
Yeah. So,
no.
And also like getting out a little bit after the meal, because normally like you just sit comatose, don't you, after it? Yeah. Whereas if you get up a little bit, have a little walk or whatever, that normally opens the hole then. So.
Yeah, I agree. And also like, because I don't often eat like a roast dinner, if you want a traditional sort of roast dinner, it doesn't sit well. It just doesn't sit well. Like every time I've had like last year, I'll be honest, I was on the toilet for the rest of the day. Like it was just uncomfortable.
Mate, you in the toilet, you're just like not got a good relationship with water.
No.
Your stomach is well sensitive.
It is. To be fair, it's pretty good right now, you know, considering I'm eating 4,500 calories, 4,000 calories on a train day. You know, I probably go to the toilet 2-3 times a day, and it's quite it's not like how I was before when I was up AJ's and, you know, ruined your downstairs toilet, mate, a bit.
I had to get a plumber in, mate.
Yeah, that's the issues that I face. But then again, normally everyone has Christmas dinner like around like 1, like lunchtime. Like, so me getting in many meals before that, I mean, I could probably get in 2, maybe 3 if I can push it, but I probably won't. Yeah, it's just, I'll have to try and figure it out. It's not the end of the world. Luckily, it falls on a rest day for me, so I haven't got to worry about training this year, which is cool.
Keith, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing for Christmas? Are you going back to Scotland?
Yeah. So I'm going back down to Stranraer, and Sarah's going across to Northern Ireland. So obviously we're going to be apart, but like we're just basically going back to like mum's and that. And obviously we usually, the thing with my family is we do like Christmas Day and Boxing Day. So like, because my family's like only like 5 people, 6 people, we go to like either my house on Christmas Day and then like my auntie's house on Boxing Day. So like, don't get me wrong, like I am gonna obviously eat quite a bit of food in that, but it's just really still gonna be like 2 normal training days and things like that, and I will still eat obviously a lot of food aside of that. It'll just be a case of I will obviously have Christmas dinner and that. Funny enough, 2 Christmas dinners because we have them obviously both Christmas Day and Boxing Day, and then 27th just back to normal. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really a big fan of Christmas and that, just because I don't know, it's like, I think it's maybe just like the socializing like perspective and that kind of thing on it. I like to just kind of do my own thing, and I don't know, I've got like, I'm not like pure against it or anything like that. I'm just, don't know, it's just never really been like a massive thing. Like if it never happened, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, I wish Christmas would happen. But nah, we're going back to Scotland anyway, so
I'm the exact same, mate, by the way, exact same. I don't know if it's just because I haven't really experienced something different to what I know, but for me, I just see it. I don't want, I enjoy Christmas, but sometimes on Christmas Day I think like I could probably do a bit of work here, or I could probably do so. I feel very guilty for having time off around Christmas as well. That's another thing. I just don't feel like I can switch off, and I feel like I've got to do work. All that sort of stuff plays in my mind. But yeah, I see it as like, especially going to see family and stuff like that, I kind of see it as a bit of a, like when I'm so focused on my goal right now, anything outside of it is just a distraction. I'm not interested. If it doesn't contribute towards the goal, I don't like doing small talk with family members that I haven't seen in months and months and months. I don't care about any of that stuff. I'm just so like, right when I tell you that, I'm so focused on what I need to do next year. I don't give a shit about any of that right now, which at the end of the day, yeah, I've had my fun in the off season where I've gone off plan, been inconsistent, all that sort of stuff. I don't want to do that. So yeah, I get what you mean when it comes
quite
to
a lot of hype for, I don't know, it's just
even like Christmas timings at the gym. Like I'm looking at the times like 10 till 2. I'm thinking, fuck off. Like, can you just stay open? Give me the keys and I'll just give you the keys back or whatever. You know, it's a bit like that at the moment. So yeah, Christmas for me, it's just, and everything's a little bit slower to get processed. Obviously going through the mortgage side of things at the moment, all that's, it's just slower than what it is. So yeah, for me, it's just a big fucking barrier for me. Caitlin, what are you doing for Christmas?
I'm back home, me. Just not much changes really. No. I'm training Christmas Day. My family don't wake up until like they lie in quite a lot, so I'm gonna head over, get a session in, come back, and by the time I'm back, they'll have just got up, so it's not like I'm missing anything. And then on Sunday, festive pull with AJ and Loz, actually.
Amazing.
So
definitely call it pull, because if you call it density, everyone asks you what density day is.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
It's just pull. It's just pull now.
But yeah, in regards to like food and stuff, I don't trust myself to eat enough if I just didn't eat my meals. I knew that I would probably just pick stuff and subconsciously just not eat enough because it would be off plan. So I'm just gonna eat my normal meals and then sub in one meal for Christmas dinner or something. But yeah, that's the plan. Not much to it. I do actually quite enjoy Christmas, just because my sister still, enjoys getting up and opening presents and stuff and seeing the family. So I think that's probably why I find it quite good just to see her, like, smile and stuff when they open presents. But yeah, that's the plan basically.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. You obviously have you at a uni accommodation and then obviously go back home.
Yeah.
How do you, since obviously living in like your own sort of space, because obviously I did, and Jack's obviously done it before with Khifie, you didn't go, have you been to university at all?
No.
No.
I went fucking I left school, went to college, and then fucking left college because it was just so shit. I was back home within like 2 months. Even though I was not even, wait, the funny thing about this is obviously I went to college, right? But I was still going home, like obviously straight after it. But like I just couldn't, I was traveling to college and then traveling back home, but it was just shit. So I just
waste of time.
What do you study at college, by the way?
I went and it was sports. It was basically, I can't even remember what it was called. They told me I was going to be a PT after it. I was like, I couldn't be bothered. Fuck that shit.
That's class. What I was gonna say, Caitlin, so like the difference between, like, obviously I've stayed in the uni accommodations and I enjoy that sort of lifestyle now where I'm just independent. Are you the same in the sense that when you're back at home, it's just a little bit like I've been so used to living on my own terms, my own rules, that when you come back home, like now, you struggle to kind of adapt to kind of what your mum and what your parents do because you're so used to doing it. I used to massively struggle when I used to come back for half terms and stuff. It used to be, yeah.
I'm in such like a solid routine that I've tried to mimic it as much as possible, but like I'll be making food, and I always have my meal one at 8:30 after I've had my morning walk, after I've had, you know, like a litre of water. Everything's the same. And because I live with people at uni, they're not awake at 8:30 in the morning. So it's nice and quiet. And I like to have my first meal. I'll, you know, scroll through the gram, see what everyone's up to, what shit people are chatting, you know, have a laugh. However, now I've got my mum and my dad just sat there like trying to talk to me, and I'm like, oh God. So that's the only difference. But to be fair, like nothing changes. After every meal, I'll go on like a 10-minute walk. Like I'm not far away from Leeds anyway. Like only thing that changes is that I've got a couple more people in the house and a dog now as well. Yeah.
Dog, yeah.
Should we do some questions? We'll leave. That was
Jack's gone.
Can we address why me and
I was wondering why are you laughing?
Gone at the 10-minute.
I'll address it.
Gone at the 10-minute walk.
So Caitlin, to be fair, you are probably one of the only people.
The only person.
Yeah,
I think.
I'll accept this, but there's a bit of a joke where post-show, people will always be super motivated, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm gonna do a 10-minute walk after every meal." And then there'll be a joke going in a few group chats saying, like, every morning. How long is this going to last for? Like a week later, they're not posting it anymore. But
it's lasted 11 weeks so far.
No,
Caitlin, you'll do it the whole off season. It's not a problem.
You will do it.
It's just
but
other
it's
people.
Funny how some people do it and it lasts a week and then it just.
Is that like the no more physique updates?
Yeah, it's very similar to that.
You know what? I was that guy that would say I'm going to go for a 10-minute walk after each meal for digestion purposes, all that sort of shit. It lasted a week, and I was like, "Fuck this! Fuck this! I am not doing that. Like, I cannot be." But every time, like that wastes so much time of your day just going for these pointless, shitty walks.
Does.
Realistically,
I think I'm going to erode the amount of times I open the door.
And like, it's all very well and good when it's sunny outside, but can you imagine doing that if it's pissing down?
Yeah,
after 5 meals, you going out, you need a new jacket every time.
Yeah, fucking hell. Right, this first question is quite a good question. Actually, I need to think about this. What is the last thing you did for the first time?
Oh, fucking hell!
I need to sit down and think. What have I done for the first time?
First time, or the most like recent thing that we've done for the first time.
For the first time.
Mine was going to a nightclub event for the first time. Because if you think about it, I went into lockdown when I was 17 and then came out of lockdown, was straight into a prep, and then didn't have the chance until October. So, yeah, October this year was the first time that I went to.
Caitlin, on that note, actually, are you going to an event on New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
I've been invited, and I'm like, what do I do?
Come.
It's down in London, isn't it?
Yeah.
I see. Someone asked me and said, "Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Oh, not sure." So I don't know what I'm actually going to do yet. I said, "I think."
There's a few of us going. Come.
Yeah, I got told, so I'm not sure whether I'll. I'm not sure yet. Raving is not sort of my thing because I wake up.
Will the sunglasses be out, Kate?
I knew you'd ask that question. Don't know. Don't know.
I'm still trying to actually answer this question. I don't actually know what I've done last time.
I think an easy one for me would be sushi. That's an easy answer for me. I went 2 weeks ago, and now I'm hooked, and I've booked, and I'm going again on Thursday already.
Oh, mate? Once you're in, you're in. You just got to keep going because it's so good. And like the next day,
I just need to master the chopsticks, though. I'm a fucking idiot with it.
Have you not mastered them yet?
No.
It's like hand-eye coordination. It's a little bit weak on those. To be honest, by the end of like the last few rolls, I'm just chucking them in. Yeah. Do you
That's
like
something I've
ginger?
never
Have you had the ginger on the
Yeah,
sushi?
yeah.
Oh,
That's good.
mega. Digest perfect as well. Evan Centopani tip that.
I'm still trying to answer this question. Does anyone, Khifie, have you got an answer for that question? What's the first?
Can I go with one that unfortunately will sound like I'm being a massive dick, but I want to use it as something that maybe will motivate some people. So, you know, the first thing that I've done for the first time is when we flew to Dubai, we both flew in business. That's the first time I've ever flown in anything different than economy. And I just wanted to say that because like I could say something different, but I want to say that because it just shows that like wherever you start out, you can get to like achieving like a really, really good level of income and an awesome life that you can live. And yeah, it's like it's just worth sticking at something that when you find a passion, just stick the hell at it. That's like probably one of the biggest things that I've learned is that the capacity to build something really, really big. I'm only at the very sort of bottom end of what I think I can get to in terms of sort of like growing businesses as a whole. So on the very edge, but like doing things like that and like the people that I was surrounded with in business class was like showing me what is ahead, what is next. So it's like little things like that I think always remind you that just keep working really hard. Because when I did it, I was like, I just want to keep working hard so that this is normal for me. I know that sounds like a bit of a dickhead thing to say, but I know there's plenty of people out there that would say that without that kind of preface, and it doesn't need it because I do work really hard. But yeah, it was pretty cool to be honest. So yeah, just anyone out there, just keep working.
To answer this, I think mine would probably be that I probably, for the first time since I've been self-employed, I got myself an accountant, which previously I'd always used to do on my income myself, but I've just given it to an accountant now to deal with, because for me, it's just, I don't want to deal with it. Just let that happen behind closed doors, which at first I was a little bit apprehensive about, because I like being in control of that side of things. And I like to make sure that, you know, what I'm, for example, tax returns, all that sort of stuff, I'm doing it correctly. But yeah, I think for me, just taking that step now and telling myself, look, I need someone to control what I do with my money and all that sort of stuff, I think is probably a step forward for me. Over the past couple of years now, I've been doing what I've been doing. So I'd probably say that's it. Keith, you've got to come up with one now, mate.
It's going to make life so much easier for you, George.
Yeah, 100%. Already it's so much easier for me.
Yeah.
Keith, you've got to come up with one, mate. Everyone else has said something.
Have you tried a new food recently or something, Keith? Like, sure, like, has there been any like new pancakes that have been out or anything?
Do you still eat pancakes on that topic?
Yeah.
Me and Locke had pancakes actually the other day.
I started actually having waffles instead of pancakes, but I get sick of them and went back to pancakes. So.
Do you still get the chocolate Morrison ones? Is it chocolate ones?
Yeah, there's white chocolate pancakes from Asda.
Oh, okay.
They're like because I used to always get crumpets from Morrison's, right? But obviously they were Scottish crumpets, and obviously I'm now living in England, therefore I cannot get Scottish crumpets in England. I refuse to eat Warburton's crumpets because no crumpet should be that fat, and no crumpet should taste like that. So I'll just not eat them until I'm back in Scotland. But I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I've started implementing burgers into my diet.
Brilliant.
Are you making them with bagel thins?
Yes.
Oh, I knew you would do that. See, that's what perplexes me about your diet is that you eat a large amount of calories to even maintain your body weight. Let's face it, and you still eat bagel thins. It's like that's like a bikini prep hack.
No, but like, if I was having,
I got a bagel on my diet.
If I was having like, I don't know. I feel though things like bagels fill me up too quick or fill me up for longer.
Okay.
So like, I don't. If I had a problem actually,
because they're twice the calories, Keith. That's why.
No, they're just too dense, just too much.
But you can nail a whole pizza that's got a lot of like bread in it.
Yeah, but That's different. That's technically different.
Why don't you just put a load of tomato like puree over the bagel and just turn it into your own little pizza? Right. Keith's actually, fun fact, Keith's actually the only person in the world to use my oven. The oven has only gotten used once in this house in the year that I've lived in it, and that was for Keith's pizza.
Yeah,
I didn't even have a baking tray, just slid it on in. It would be like, nah, it'd be fine, it'd be fine.
To be fair, that was probably one of the nicest pizzas I've had, so I'll take that.
We'll answer this one. What makes you angry inside and outside of the gym? So I guess outside could just be it could be anything. Inside though, Jack, I'll go with you first because I know you got it off. Something's on your tongue, mate. I know you've got something that pisses you off massively.
A lot of stuff in the car. I don't know what it is. As soon as I get in the car, it's just like rage. I don't know what it is. I
would not like to be a passenger. I've seen you drive. You drive like a bit like a madman.
Most things on the road piss me off. I think it's just like mainly if you're in the outside lane, you better be overtaken. That's the main one that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
In the gym, I don't know. Potentially, if you're waiting for a machine, like if someone comes up to you and asks how many sets you got left, and then they proceed to stand like right next to the machine.
I had that the other week.
And like for me as well, more than anything, because like obviously I have a lot of worries in regards to training. That sets me off big time, and like I'll tell them to fuck off. So yeah, that's potentially one. Yeah, those are probably the main two I can think of off the top of my head.
Caleb?
Really trying to think here. So outside of the gym, driving again. I don't know why, but as soon as I see an old person in the car, I get angry. Because they're just always shit, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, they don't get tested, and their eyesight just gets worse and worse and worse.
That's so true.
That angers me.
And their insurance becomes fucking cheaper.
Yeah, and I would guarantee that they're the reason why there's a lot of incidents inside the gym. I don't think anything angers me off the top of my head because the gym that I train in, there's not many people. So I haven't been exposed to that.
Put yourself in a commercial gym, Caitlin.
No, nothing's coming to mind. If I think of anything, I will chip in.
Go on, Keith.
Inside the gym, people walking in front of me or walking near me. I fucking hate it. I absolutely hate it. Like, just it really, really, really gets to me. And it's like, see if I'm gonna like the way that the gym's laid out as well. Like where the squat racks are, you do need to walk in between them, and there's another machine on this side, which is fair enough. But if I'm just about to proceed and squat 260 kilo, please do not walk near me. Do you know what I mean? And it happens all the time. Or even the dumbbells, right? So obviously there's like quite a few benches, and the dumbbell like rack is so long. So fair enough, you might need to go to like the other side of the rack to get the dumbbells that you want. But it's the exact same again. If I'm just about to go into a working set, don't walk right in front of me, because like the benches are here and the dumbbells are like here. So you need to squeeze past unless you walk around the back of the benches, which logic would tell you to do so if somebody was just going to press 60 kilo dumbbells. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, especially when you're proper fired up in that and you're just fucking ready to just put in a shift, and some cunt just walks right in front of you, and you're filming your set and they've just ruined the fucking video, and just.
Eve, can I tag on that? What another thing that gripes me is when people are training right in front of the mirror by the dumbbell rack.
Yeah.
Because then you can't grab anything that's within the vicinity of them. So you might have like 8 different dumbbells that they're taking up by doing side raises stood right in front of the mirror, like not step back, right next to the dumbbells. That grinds me as well.
What about outside the gym?
Outside the gym, don't know. Probably just social media. Social media really. I don't let it bother me, and I don't let it make me angry, but it just does. There's never a day where I switch on social media and just look at something and go, "What the fuck?" Either why, like, I know a lot of people probably think that about me, which is perfectly fine, but
in a good way.
Yeah, they think, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No, but
How is that possible?
Sometimes good way, sometimes bad way. It's probably half and half, but I don't know.
You got an example for us? What's pissed you off recently on social media?
I just always, I just literally just see people that would rather, like, how do you explain this? So I feel as if myself anyway, I get a lot of maybe like younger people looking up to, like, wanting to compete where I've competed or do what I've done, etc., etc., etc. So they'll then ask me for advice, and I'll be happily enough to give them it. But they won't take that advice and utilize it to the most. What they'll do is they'll forget about it because nobody wants to squat, bench, and deadlift, but everybody wants to fucking go in and fucking just do the complete opposite and expect to grow off it. And just all that kind of stuff. And then they'll write a big post about it and be like, "Oh yeah, this is fucking amazing. I've seen fucking, I don't even know, do it, etc., etc., etc." Expecting to grow off it, knowing that realistically none of that's going to do anything if the basic fundamentals aren't nailed. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that you necessarily need to just squat, bench, and deadlift, but at least a variation of a basic compound movement needs to be nailed in order for you to grow off of. As long as obviously you are eating enough, that's going to be a big thing. But at the same time, it's like, I feel as if that's why there's not going to be many. Like, I'm not saying that I am like at the top of my game, but at the same time, I feel as if for a younger generation competitor, I do have a significant amount of muscle. But that's from what I've been telling younger generation people coming up, younger people coming up to do, and it's like they would rather not do that, and then they wonder why they turn up on stage not being fucking huge. And then again, it leads to more younger people taking fucking peds, and it's like, and not that I've got anything against younger people taking peds, it's just a case of there's timings, and if you've not like somebody like you, Caitlin, for example, right? Look at what you've done before anything, right? And then look at somebody who's 17, 18 years old that's done fuck all, will go into a gym and go for a fucking cuff as a first exercise, and the second exercise will be a fucking G handle, and the third exercise will be probably back to a cuff, and it's like, don't do that. And then if they don't get huge after fucking 6 months, all right, that's fine, I'll just start taking gear. I just fuck off, man. I hate people. I don't like people.
That's brilliant. Though.
That's a good example, too.
I don't even let it, right. See, it's even being honest, right? If I start talking about it, I'll yap on about it, but I don't actually let it get to me, right? I don't take that much to do it.
It's true though, because you still do the same stuff. You know, you still do that squat, you still do that bench, you still do that deadlift. I don't ever see you with doing cuff lateral raises or the traditional sort of D handle high to low row everyone's doing now, pull down, I should say. You stick to what you know, and I think that for you is a very unique selling point to who you are, and it just goes to show, like, if you do a 330 fucking deadlift for a set of 2 or 3, whatever, this is what you'll look like. But not many people, we're all about trends nowadays, you know. Even I see it now, like someone who's 17, 18, banding a leg press, reverse banding a hack squat. Like, I agree with you in that sense, you know, build foundations, you know, do that after you've exhausted, however you've been doing whatever. If you've maxed out a hack squat, yeah, I can understand it. But let's look at what you look like when you do max out that hack squat, you know, that sort of stuff. So yeah, I get that.
It's probably just trends more than anything else. Like, that's probably where it all comes from. Do you know what I mean? And fair enough, that's fine. But the second that somebody who's very good at what they do starts doing something, then a lot of people will obviously jump onto that, and then it will become, there's just so many trends nowadays that I think that's took over anything else, rather than you actually finding what has worked for you, doing it over like a long period of time. Do you know what I mean? Nobody's really willing to do anything for a year or 2 years. So
Absolutely.
I think that's probably one of the biggest things.
AJ,
and again, I can jump in on the driving thing as well. Like, I'm not the most not the most pleasantest person on the planet whenever I'm driving, but
oh, you know, the
You've got
more
a big whip now, haven't you?
yeah, had to fucking it's much better on the road. It's just a shame that it's not as powerful, but it's much better on the road, and I've been doing like so much traveling recently, so it's
comfy.
Yeah, much better for that. So
I mean, you're not a small guy either, mate. So like you kind of actually need a big car. Like you're 230. That's a big dude.
it's like literally the same height as me. It's fucking crazy. I think you're tiny little bit taller, maybe like half an inch, something like that.
Oh man.
And it's like 50 pounds on me. It's just fucking ridiculous. It's crazy. Yeah. AJ, how about you, son? Inside, outside the gym, what annoys you?
Yeah, so I actually had to. I thought of something that I had to write them down because I kept forgetting them, because it's that point in the evening where my brain is complete mush. So the first one that's especially prevalent in Ultraflex is just people abusing kit that costs thousands and thousands of pounds. Like people don't understand how much money goes into getting some of these prime pieces, and then you see someone just whack it on any old setting and ditch it at the top of the range and just like let it slam off the pins on the pec deck, or do the prime extreme row and basically just ditch it in all the way back here, let go, and wonder why the bearings always break. Like pretty much every single time me and Cuba will go in and we'll get to, like, he'll get to an exercise, I'll get to an exercise. There'll always be something like slightly off with it because someone's left it in a bad way. So yeah, I mean, I think, you know, every day Cuba gets to a point where he realizes he just wants his own shed or unit, because invests a lot of time and money into that place, and then people abuse it, which is upsetting. Yeah. So that's in the gym. And then outside of the gym, the only one I could actually think of would just probably just shows my element of food focus still post shows is just like food, like oats exploding in the microwave. I just cannot handle that shit. I'm still at a point where they have to be perfect, and at the moment they're pre-workout and pre-bed. So if they explode at those 2 times in the day, it's even worse because it ruins my scheduling to get to bed and it ruins my scheduling to get to the gym. So I now have luckily completely nailed the timing schedule and the amount of fluids so that they cannot explode. But I always like to risk it, don't you? Like I just like to just add an extra 30 just to see what happens.
I'm with you on that, because I've come back from the uni flat where it's a different microwave, different wattage. Absolutely horrendous. Sometimes
when you look away from the microwave, you think it's like 5-10 seconds, but it's like 30 seconds and you fucked it. I did that with a cookie. I meant to put it in for 20 seconds in the microwave yesterday. I put it in for 40 seconds. It came out black, like burnt. Mum and Dad came in the kitchen, like, is there a fire? I'm like, no, just burnt a cookie 40 seconds in the microwave. So I had to throw it in the bin. I'm not eating that. And I had no cookies left. I was willing to just throw it away and not have a cookie. So I think for me, outside inside the gym at the moment is at Physique's gym. They've got a platform. They've got 2 platforms. They've got a small platform and a bigger platform. The big one's all right, but when people walk behind me, same as Khifie, really, like I can feel their weight on that platform. You know, if someone's 180 pounds, 200 pounds, I can feel that when I'm deadlifting. It's very, very distracting. I'd rather someone walk around the other way. But at the moment, they're sometimes they're refurbishing it and they have to change around a few bits. But that's probably the biggest thing inside the gym. Outside of it, lack of self-awareness. I absolutely hate when people are just not aware of their surroundings, especially in a supermarket. They're fucking walking down the middle of the aisle, standing there like a fucking museum. I said it plenty of times before. I'm like, that for me is a big, I don't like, I like people being aware, like I'm behind you, can you move out my way, sort of thing. And like, oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. Like, really? What world are you living in? Like, what have you been doing walking down the aisle or whatever, wherever you're at? Like, I don't know, but that's probably my one, I'd say. On that note, has anyone seen the dumbest thing you've seen in the gym? It's the dumbest thing anyone's seen in the gym.
It's not a lot of dumb stuff that always happens in ultra flex because a lot of people are actually very well trained.
Yes.
So
there's a lad at my gym who brings frosties and eats them mid workout.
That's Khifie influence.
that is Khifie inspired. He's got
Like-
some of the Khifie processes just mixed up.
He'll do a set, hand, grab.
No.
I'm like, oh, and then the crumbs on the floor, and then when I'm working, I have to get hoover that up.
Not good.
Dumbest
I
thing.
got one that's pretty recent in my memory. It was only last week. Person got a day pass at the gym with us. Proceeds to load up the incline barbell, 20k aside, and then he lies back on the bench, and then he picks it up like he's squatting it, and then he squats down on the incline bench, does a set of 10 with awful form, and then to re-rack it, he lies back down on the incline bench and just falls back and places it back. And then on his second set, he did it, and he missed the one side, so he was back like that. And believe it or not, I went up to him and asked him if he'd seen the squat racks out in the other room, to which he actually got in my face at the time. I don't think this guy was sober, but nearly led to another altercation in the gym, but didn't.
I think for me recently, from what I remember, is someone, because I was waiting for the deadlift bar and he was using it to OHP with. Fuck you, what are you doing? And he's PT as well. I'm like, I don't know if he wasn't aware of it, but I could see like he had
was
like
doing like explosive training. He wanted the whip.
You gotta have that whip.
He wanted, yeah, I saw that and I was just like, I asked him, I was like, are you finished with the deadlift bar? Made it obvious to him. And he was like, yeah. I'm thinking, fucking PT that is.
That's literally the exact same as me. I recently got a Texas deadlift bar of like my own, and I was like, I hate to say it, like I never wanted to be that dick that was like, right, this is my bar, nobody else using it. Do you know what I mean? There is a few people that do go in and train and are know what they're doing and would get like benefits from using a deadlift bar, and that was fine. But I've seen like there's been a couple of times I've seen somebody rack pulling with a Texas deadlift bar.
Oh no.
And RDL one time somebody was rack pulling with a bar and RDL, and that was enough for me to put a chain on it and be like, no cunt using it.
Yeah. I'll destroy the bar as well, like rack.
Legit, where's the fuck is the logic behind rack pulling with a Texas deadlift bar?
Right, well, we'll go through one more. I can't remember. I think we've been on hour 13, something like that. So, well, I'll go for one more. I'll try and make it a good one. Okay, this one's okay. I'm just gonna ask this one as I saw it. What's one thing you'd change about yourself, i.e., appearance or personality? Has anyone got any personality trait that so like, fuck this, I need to change this?
I don't like the way that I change a little bit towards the end of the prep. Like I become very, very quiet and like almost just quiet the whole day. So I don't want to talk to anyone in the gym. I don't like that. I'm not the kind of guy that goes into the gym and doesn't want to talk to anyone. Like even when I saw you a few times, like I'd see you, and you'd know like by my facial expression that I just look tired and want to go home. Like that's just not. I don't like.
Yeah,
that.
but don't you think that's just a sign that you get into the tail end of prep? Like it's just going to happen.
But I almost wish it wasn't part of the process in a way, mate, because that's just not something that I like. I don't like being that person.
Well, it wouldn't be part of the process if you just came in out of shape.
Yeah. That's a fair comment.
Like the people that are dancing around at the end of prep probably aren't in true condition.
You have to get to that spot, but it's just something. If I could change that and still get into shape, I would. But that would take some sort of magic, which isn't available.
I think we've all been there. We've all done that. I've certainly have. You know, well, I want to eat on my own. I want to cook on my own. I said that last week. I don't like towards the back end of prep. I didn't like when people agitate me when I'm cooking my food because everything had to be perfect. You know, that sort of stuff. Right now, just shove it in a bowl, eat it. I don't want it presented nice on a plate like my veg goes there. This, fuck that. You know, don't. Yeah, it's just. I just think you go for that phase, and you in that moment, you're just so focused on the goal. You know, you're just so focused on what needs to be done. Anyone else? Personality, appearance. For me, probably my hairline. What was that, Keith?
Probably just change the size of me.
What do you mean?
Wouldn't mind being a little bit bigger.
As in more
come.
muscle or height?
Yeah, just want a bit of both actually. And to be honest, right, this is the thing. So I'm 5'6.5", right? But I wouldn't mind being 5'8", 5'8.5".
Yeah, it's a solid height.
I reckon I wouldn't mind being that height, but I also just want to be huge. So I mean, if I have
the
to
name
deal
of the
with,
game on this podcast, lads, just want to be huge.
if I have to deal with being 5'6.5" and still could be huge, then that's fine. But I would like to be like just over 5'8". I think that's probably a more optimal height than 5'6.5". But just got to deal with it, I suppose.
You'll have to watch my 30-day stretch video on YouTube, which has 150,000 views. You grow an inch in the next month.
Oh man.
Caitlin, anything? Sorry, on that note, would you like to be, because obviously you're quite short on the short side, would you like to be taller?
No.
I respect.
No, I'm all right with being short. I mean, it means that it's not. I mean, if I found a partner that was shorter than me, I'd be quite concerned, to be honest with you.
They'd be classed as a dwarf, Caitlin.
Yeah, they would in fact. It means that I can wear heels on a night out. Not that I go on a night out, but I could wear up to like 6-inch heels and still be all right. You've gone for like more personality. I'll go for appearance. My skin, to be honest with you, like my skin has it's never been great, and especially in a post-show phase for like females, when hormones start to regulate, which is a good sign. Like, don't get me wrong, I know it's a good sign. Like, my skin does get worse, and as much as you try not to look at yourself, you'll catch yourself in the mirror and just think, ugh, which I try not to do, but that's one thing I'd like to change.
Have you ever been on medication for anything?
Yeah, pretty much everything other than Accutane, because I didn't want to risk that with like joint pain and potentially, like there's just a lot that comes with that, and I would prefer to just try everything else. In summer, it's actually a lot better.
Yeah.
But it's one of them things. Hopefully, once like I'm getting to that stage now, like 9-10 weeks post show, where I'm basically recovered now, and things are now going to start regulating, which is nice. But it's although I know it's a good thing, it's definitely not nice at the moment. I
get that. I mean, I used to go to the doctors about my skin when I was younger. They used to give me tablets, and they were quite big tablets. They didn't do anything really. And I found when I got to about 21, I just grew out of it. I just kind of grew out of that sort of phase where I used to be quite spotty, and I do have a bit of scarring on my face from it. But I just kind of got to that point where I, grew out of it. And then I just started looking at, exfoliating, looking after my skin, even just water, like drinking water really does massive things to your skin. I even get my sister to do that now. She drinks way more water, skin's better. So little things like that. Have I answered?
I used Roaccutane when I was 15. I think I did about 6 months on it. Yeah. And that helped me massively. Not that I'm like advocating it, because I know that there's a lot of side effects. I'm glad that I did it at the age I did as well, because I think it would probably cause a lot more issues if it was later down the line when I was a bit older and stuff. For example, like I couldn't go out in the sun. I couldn't like sunbathe for quite a while. My skin was so dry. Every morning when I woke up, I'd have to crack both sides of my mouth. So like I knew it was coming. Like, so I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh, I gotta do it. And I'd open my mouth and they'd both just go boof. Because it like dries.
Don't get me wrong, I've thought about it so many times, because I know that once people get on the other end, and they've made it through, they quality of life is so much better. But it's just like, if I ride it out for maybe a couple more years,
I think another thing you've got to consider is you've just got like very naturally high androgens anyway. So that's going to be causing quite a significant shift, because the amount of muscle that you've built, like, yes, of course, it comes down massively to hard work and training, but like naturally you're pretty much at the higher end of those hormones, which are going to start to stimulate that side of things. So yes, the skin is a bit annoying, but you're also massive at a young age, and that's a pro. versus a con. But yeah, I'm the same as like George Jack. Like when I was younger, my skin was terrible. Like, you know, I suffered big time with people bullying me for it as well. And yeah, I remember like plenty of days going to school crying, you know, like just not being happy with the way that I looked at all. So I actually said this to like Loz the other day. We were talking about skin and stuff. And I said that actually I felt like it benefited me, because now when I've got like better skin, like a lot better skin, I very rarely have breakouts. I appreciate it so much more than a lot of other people do.
Yeah.
I think like you see other people with perfect skin and they don't realize how lucky they are. I still have to work to keep mine nice. Like I do take care of it a lot. I use Tropic skincare for my skin, and it seems to have worked really well for me the last couple of years. And obviously the sunbeds do help a little bit, to be honest.
I found that. Yeah.
Just dries it out a little bit. And I know George and Jack are the same. But yeah, I think all of like bodybuilders that do tend to suffer a little bit with it when we're younger. But yeah, it does suck.
On that note, I actually I've never really said this ever, but I used to actually wear makeup when I was about 17, 19. It's not like
George,
I used to get concealer, is it called?
Concealer, yeah, I had the same, mate.
Concealer I used to get one which would be this very similar to my skin color. I'd go in there, happily buy it, and I would just literally rub it on a spot, and it was
the secret's out, guys. The secret's out.
So did I. That was the thing is like when I wore it, I didn't. I don't know. I didn't really feel good putting it on. I felt like I always put it on. And I wish. Yeah, it feels cakey. And also, like, I just always remember wishing that I just had skin that I didn't have to do that to. You know,
I'm pretty sure it makes them worse as well.
Yeah, it does. 100%. Definitely does. Especially that fucking face sucked, but it does when it clears up. For anyone that is suffering with that at the moment, like you do genuinely appreciate it so much. And you might get like one spot, and then you'll wake up and you'll look at it and you'll think, that's annoying. But then you realize that it's like one, and you used to, you know, have like issues that would just break out and ruin your day. So yeah, makes a massive difference.
I think we'll leave it there. We've been an hour, 20 minutes sort of. I think that's good. I think AJ's ready for bed. You've got to get up at. Are you still in your usual routine of getting up early?
Yeah. So alarm is, well, I set an alarm for 4:30, but genuinely I'm not lying. I do wake up at about 4:20 every morning without an alarm. But I do attribute that to literally going to bed at the same time every single day, waking up at the same time every day, and using the Lumi light that's just in the corner here. Those are like the things that I would like recommend to anyone looking to get into a really solid sleep routine.
Yeah. What time do you go to sleep on that note?
I'm in bed by about 8, and I'm probably like on my Oura ring, it says that I'm out by normally about 15:15.
Nice.
So, but as soon as I eat my last meal at the moment, I'm drifting away. Like my body's like, okay, the day's done, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a good routine. Anyway, what can I comment down below? Comment down below, plug, if you watch the whole thing, if you got this far in the podcast. As ever, thank you to everyone that has supported the podcast so far. I really, really appreciate it, and sharing it on your stories, all that sort of stuff. It means more than what you know. It gets it out there, and I'm sure you guys have been tagged on the past few weeks ridiculously. So lots of love, and we'll definitely have to do this next week.
Khifie, your head looks massive.
Happy Christmas as well to any listeners.
Yes, happy Christmas as well, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
I'm a London scammer. I see it, I want it, I click it. Nights in the bando, pirates whipping. Next day, man started clicking. No boo, I'm waitress tipping. Bad beat, come and take this dinking. Codeine, that's what I'm sipping. Money, that's what I'm missing. Look, I'm a London scammer. I see it, I want it, I click it. Nights in the bando, pirates whipping. Next day, man started clicking. No boo, I'm waitress tipping. Bad beat, come and take this dinking. Codeine, that's what I'm sipping. Money, that's what I'm missing. Swing me a Monzo with your dozens.